After my boyfriend's friend found out I had asthma, she purposely picked a barbecue joint for the gathering. The smoke in the air was thick, so I quickly pulled my inhaler out of my pocket and took a puff. But the moment the sweet liquid hit my tongue, my face drained of color. To my horror, my inhaler had been switched strawberry-flavored cough syrup. My throat tightened, panic surging in my chest. I turned and saw my boyfriend handing the inhaler to his female friend. Ivy's been coughing from a cold. This inhaler looks fancy. Let her try it for a bit. I gasped, struggling for breath. That's asthma medication, not something for a cough. I'm allergic to smoke. Give it back. Ivy Grant took a deep puff from the inhaler, a satisfied look spreading across her face. This feels so much better. Has her girlfriend turned into a jealous drama queen again, Aiden? She was fine just a minute ago, and now she's trying to steal my medicine? I was struggling to breathe, my voice faint as I pleaded. I really feel bad. Please give it back. But my boyfriend, Aiden Ford, furrowed his brow, irritation clouding his face. Enough, Amelia. Are you really going to keep pretending like this? I don't believe you'd have an asthma attack just from some barbecue. A deep, crushing sense of despair settled over me. I forced myself to send a message to my father. Dad, send someone to help me. I know I was wrong. Cancel the investment in the Ford family. I had just sent the message when Aiden snatched my phone from my hands. So, you've still got the energy to play with your phone? Looks like you've been faking it all along. Amelia, can you stop making a scene and let me finish the celebration? He turned it off and shoved it into his pocket, his face hardening. I begged, my voice barely a whisper. Give me back my inhaler, please. I really need it. I tried to reach for it, but he forcefully pushed me back into my seat. Sit still. Don't ruin everyone's mood. The sharp pain in my back and the suffocating pressure in my chest made me cough uncontrollably. Cough, cough, I'm really allergic to smoke. Please give me my asthma medication. Ivy grabbed the bottle of strawberry-flavored cough syrup and forced it into my mouth, the nozzle pressing painfully against my lips. Still coughing? Must not have taken enough. Let me help you. The thick syrup poured down my throat, clogging my airways. I opened my mouth, but no air came in. Cold sweat drenched my back. I shoved her away, my body lurching forward violently. Ugh! Pink syrup mixed with mucus shot out of my mouth, splattering all over Ivy's delicate high heels. She jumped back, screaming in shock, her eyes instantly filled with tears. Amelia, I was just trying to help, and this is how you repay me? Aiden slapped me across the face, his voice furious. You ungrateful. Ivy was just trying to be nice, and you're treating her like this. My ears rang from the slap. Trembling, I reached for him. Give me the medication. Please, give me my asthma medication. But Aiden sneered, cold and dismissive. Still acting, huh? I told you, there's an exhaust ventilation system here. Stop pretending. Others chimed in, echoing his words. Yeah, usually it's whatever if you fake being sick and drag Aiden away. But today's our celebration. You're just a useless ornament, but somehow you're stealing the spotlight. What's the point? For the first time, Aiden didn't defend me. Ivy got sick standing in the rain helping me secure sponsorships. What's the big deal if she uses your inhaler? Oh, you have to be jealous about everything. His words made me feel like I was falling into an abyss of cold. He didn't even know the truth that the sponsorship only went through because my father agreed for my sake. Without that, their tiny company would have stood no chance. A year ago, I hid my identity to be with Aiden, ignoring my father's disapproval. Back then, he treated me so well. After learning about my asthma, he told me to focus on my health and that he'd handle the company. But everything changed once his friend, Ivy, became his secretary. They were always together, their closeness impossible to ignore. I didn't like it, but Aiden kept explaining it was just friendship. If they were more than that, he would have already gotten together with her. Ivy pretended to reassure me, telling me not to overthink. Yet she always pushed me into situations that triggered my asthma. In the beginning, Aiden was really concerned when I had an attack. He would drop everything and take me to the hospital, despite the complaints from his friends. But then he started listening to Ivy. He believed I was just jealous and making a scene on purpose. Like today, when Ivy said through tears, "Amelia, don't overthink it. Aiden's just being considerate of his employees." I caught a cold for the company's sake. As a leader, it's only right for him to care. Don't be so sensitive. No matter how much he loves you, he can't keep up with all the drama and testing. Her voice grew more agitated, her face flushing. She clutched her chest, as if she couldn't breathe. Aiden couldn't care less about me anymore. He shoved the inhaler into her mouth and pressed down on it. "Enough, Ivy. Take a puff." Ivy gave me a look filled with challenge before she inhaled deeply from my asthma medication. My vision went black, my breathing becoming more and more frantic. I reached out to grab the inhaler, but my legs gave out, and I collapsed to the floor. Everyone looked at me with contempt. If she could understand what we're saying, she wouldn't be putting on this act. It's like talking to a brick wall. "Aiden, are you seriously still falling for this bad acting?" Aiden, who had been nervous and seemed about to help me, immediately hardened his face. "Amelia, I almost fell for your trick again. Ivy's been putting up with all this and still explaining herself to you. And what about you? All you do is throw tantrums, fake being sick, and act jealous." I struggled to grab onto his pants leg, my throat tightening as I forced out the words. "Inhaler, my inhaler." He shook me off with a kick, looming over me. "Amelia, stop pretending. Every time I leave important clients to take you to the hospital, the doctors always say it's your own problem. Can you just be reasonable for once? My company is on the rise right now. I can't keep dealing with your drama." Ivy leaned against him with a sigh, then casually tossed the inhaler back toward me. "Fine. You want it that badly? Here." I lunged for the rolling bottle, my hands shaking as I pressed it to my lips. But instead of the usual spray, the canister only made a dry, empty sound. The medicine was gone. Ivy had already emptied it, leaving me with an empty bottle to graciously return. "You did this on purpose." I was boiling with anger, standing up to slap her, but Aiden kicked me back to the ground. "Aiden, see? She really was faking it. She has enough strength to hit me. I'm scared, cough, cough." "Don't be. She wouldn't dare." Aiden looked at me coldly. "Stop acting. If you really had asthma, would you have the strength to hit someone?" Laughter rippled through the room. "Wow, your acting is terrible. Can't fake being sick. Now you want to fake fainting so Aiden will rush to your side. Huh." Laughter and mockery rang in my ears as I collapsed to the floor. Like a fish on the brink of death, I futilely opened and closed my mouth. "AI, Den, I really have asthma." My voice grew fainter, each breath feeling like I was swallowing needles. In my blurred vision, I saw Ivy pull Aiden back to his seat. Forget her. Tonight's supposed to be a celebration. The others cheered her on. "You're so sneaky, Ivy. You didn't even drink tonight because of your cold. What kind of celebration is that?" Unexpectedly, Ivy grabbed the wine bottle, took a swig, then tugged on Aiden's tie, kissing him, passing the wine between them. Golden liquor dribbled down their entwined lips. The shirt on Ivy's chest was completely soaked, revealing a glimpse of her black bra beneath. "Holy shit. Ivy, you're insane." Aiden flushed scarlet, fumbling to push her away. But when his eyes fell on her chest, his hands froze, unable to find a place to rest. Wiping her lips, Ivy grabbed his chin, grinning. "Good friends go through thick and thin together. I caught a cold for you, so now you drink for me. Fair trade, right?" The room erupted with whistles and cheers. "Exactly. What's the big deal about a good friend feeding you some booze? Let the petty drama queens see what's going on." Aiden turned and glanced at me on the floor, guilty flickering in his eyes. Without missing a beat, Ivy grabbed the bottle again, pouring the wine onto her collarbone and chest. Her soaked shirt clung to her curves, sending the crowd into a frenzy. "Now that's how it's done. Aiden, come on, let's keep drinking. Now that's what a real challenge looks like. Forget those cleavage shots or collarbone shots. No more of that. Lick it." The noise was deafening. The deafening whistles and laughter filled the air as Aiden looked back at me one last time. Then, as if letting go of all his guilt, his Adam's apple bobbed, and he leaned in to kiss Ivy's chest, laughing. Laughter filled the room. Their shameless bodies pressed together in front of me. My chest ached with despair and heartbreak. I wanted to crawl away from this suffocating place, but as soon as I turned over, my strength gave out. Lying there helplessly, I suddenly felt something cold against my neck. It was the necklace my mother had given me before she passed away. The pendant held a special pill inside. She had fastened it around my neck herself, telling me she hoped this medicine would save my life in a critical moment. With trembling hands, I summoned the last of my strength and clawed at the pendant. My nails cracked and bled, but I barely felt it. Click. The pendant finally popped open. I poured the white pill into my hand, my heartbeat thundering in my chest. But just as I was about to take it, Ivy's heels clicked against the floor. She appeared in front of me. She sneered, eyes gleaming with malice, and exhaled a ring of smoke straight at my face. "Amelia, you're one tough cookie, huh? Even hiding medicine on you?" I choked, gasping for air, desperately shaking my head. She grinned wickedly, prying my fingers open one by one, before snatching the pill from my hand. With a cruel twist, she ground it under her heel. The white powder mixed with the dirt, and she kicked it away with a casual motion. "Don't." My vision blurred with rage, and I struggled to grab it back, but she pressed the cigarette butt down onto my hand. The searing pain from my burnt skin made me cry out in agony. Aiden had been clinking glasses with the others. He frowned at the commotion and walked over. Ivy shoved the cigarette into my hand and immediately lunged at him, throwing herself into his arms. "Aiden." I was just trying to help her up, but she burned me with a cigarette. Aiden glanced at the cigarette in my hand, then looked at Ivy, who was coughing violently. "Amelia, you still have the nerve to claim you're allergic to smoke? What's this then?" "It's not me, it's her." I pointed weakly at Ivy, trying to show him the burn on my hand. But Aiden didn't believe me. His gaze was filled with disgust. The others chimed in, backing Ivy up. Ivy caught a cold and can't stand the smell of smoke.
"No one here was smoking today."
"She's obviously doing this on purpose." I opened my mouth to defend myself, but no sound came out. I could only shake my head helplessly, tears streaming down my face. Aiden tightened his arms around Ivy. Just as he began to comfort her, his phone rang. Yeah, it's the barbecue joint in the city center." He hung up the phone, his face lighting up with excitement. "The Grant Group just called. Their CEO is on his way here." The group erupted in excitement, though confusion flickered across their faces. "Wait, isn't the contract signing next week? Why would the cold, distant Mr. Grant suddenly show up here?" I gathered the last bit of strength to croak out. He's my brother. Nathan is my brother." They paused for a moment, then burst out laughing. "Are you serious? What a joke. You, a stone, trying to claim you're related to Mr. Grant? Are you out of your mind?" Ivy giggled behind her hand. "Is she acting again?" "Everyone knows that the chairman of the Grant Group only has one son, Nathan Grant. If he were really her brother, would we even need to beg for this partnership?" Aiden's expression darkened. "What next? You going to tell us Nathan's coming here for you?" I nodded weakly. His hand cracked across my face before I could say another word. Dazed from lack of oxygen, my head crashed to the floor with a heavy thud. The ringing in my ears drowned out everything, and warm blood dripped onto the floor. Darkness clouded my vision. "Amelia, you're really disappointing me more and more. Lies, nothing but lies. Absolutely hopeless. Since you still don't know how wrong you are, you can stay in the bathroom. So when Mr. Grant arrives, he doesn't have to see your crazy behavior and dirty his eyes." He waved coldly at the others. "Get a server to clean this up. It's bad luck just to look at it." Two of them yanked me by the arms and dragged me into the restroom. "Please call an ambulance, save me." A broken plea tore from my throat, ragged and desperate. My face was turning blue from lack of oxygen. They noticed something was off with me and hesitated before asking Aiden. "Aiden, she really doesn't look good. Should we take her to the hospital?" Aiden waved his hand dismissively. She's definitely faking it. Remember, she used to pull this act all the time? Goes to the hospital, nothing's wrong. Lock her up, teach her a lesson. Ivy chimed in, agreeing. If she was really sick, she'd be in trouble by now. We don't have time for this. Don't let her ruin our business deal. With that, she urged the two men to throw me into the bathroom, ordering them to tie my hands behind my back. As the bathroom door slammed shut, I collapsed onto the floor, hopeless, waiting for death. The suffocating feeling I expected didn't hit me. To my surprise, the bathroom blocked the smoke from outside, and the ventilation fan above blew in cool air. I gasped for breath, desperately trying to inhale the relatively clean air. My overwhelmed respiratory system finally got a moment to recover. The door opened. Ivy stepped in, a wide grin on her face as she grabbed a rag and shoved it into my mouth. That was close. I almost let you catch your breath. My mouth was completely blocked, and the tiny relief my lungs had gotten vanished as they were suffocated again. I fell to the ground, choking with desperate, ragged breaths. My eyes bulged out from the extreme lack of oxygen. Ivy watched with amusement, savoring my struggle, her voice soft but venomous. You know what? Aiden's been done with you being a dead weight. Otherwise, why would he let me frame you again and again? I could only glare at her, barely able to produce more than a pained whimper. She continued, almost in a sing-song tone. Every time you get sick, he knows I'm behind it, but he doesn't blame me. Want to know why? She pulled out her phone and played a video. On the screen, Aiden and Ivy were tangled together, panting. Ivy, you're the best. She's got a little inheritance, but that's it. She can't do anything for me. I'm exhausted every day, and I still have to keep her happy, worrying she'll get sick if she's upset. It's a pain. Ivy smiled, asking him, So, do you love her or the money? Aiden hugged her tightly and responded, What do you think? Look at us. Do you even need to ask? I felt like my heart was being ripped apart, finally understanding the truth. The man I had loved for so long had been pretending all along. Ivy seemed satisfied with my reaction. She smiled, then reached up and turned off the ventilation fan. Don't look at me like that, she said, bending down, her voice sweet as she spoke the cruelest words. Even if you die here today, everyone will just say it was your emotional outburst that triggered your asthma. You refused help and locked yourself in the bathroom. Once you're gone, Aiden, as your fiancé, will inherit every last cent of the fortune your dead mother left behind, without any problems. I was consumed with rage, but all I could do was watch her leave as my vision blurred and darkness closed in. My consciousness started to slip away, retreating like the tide, a cold numbness creeping up from my limbs to my chest. Just as I was about to close my eyes, Nathan stormed into the barbecue joint, his anger practically radiating off him. Mr. Grant, you've arrived. The sycophantic chatter of the crowd was immediately drowned out by my brother's furious shout. Tell me, where have you hidden my sister? Where is she? The entire room fell silent. No one reacted at first. To their surprise, Nathan Stone, the person they had been anxiously waiting for, wasn't here for a business deal, but to find his sister. Someone immediately recalled what I had said earlier, that Nathan was my brother, and subtly tugged at Ivy's sleeve. Ivy and Aiden exchanged uneasy glances, both sensing trouble. But Ivy quickly dismissed the idea, forcing a smile and saying, Mr. Grant, what are you talking about? Why don't I understand? What are you saying?
Slap.
The loud sound of a slap echoed through the room as Nathan continued to shout, I'll ask one last
time.
Where is my sister, Amelia Stone? Everyone gasped in shock. Ivy stood frozen, stunned by the slap. Her face drained of color as Nathan's words hit her. Aiden's expression faltered as well. He hadn't expected what I said to be true. If Nathan found out I'd been locked up in the bathroom and tortured, everything would be over. A cold, ruthless glint flashed in Aiden's eyes. He cleared his throat and forced an explanation. She said she wasn't feeling well and left early. Bullshit. I just asked the receptionist. They said no one is left here. What the hell did you do to her? Nathan, I'm here. With all the strength I could muster, I slammed my head against the bathroom door.
Bang.
Nathan whirled around, his bloodshot eyes locked onto the door. My sister's in there, right? Tell me what's going on. Mr. Grant, please calm down. Aiden scrambled to block the bathroom door, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Just as he was trying to cover up the lie, Ivy slapped her forehead and laughed nervously. Oh, Aiden, I almost forgot. Before leaving, Amelia said she needed to use the bathroom. Maybe she got drunk and fell in there. Mr. Grant, don't worry. I'll go check on her right now. Without another word, she quickly opened the bathroom door and squeezed inside. As Nathan tried to follow, Ivy quickly slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Mr. Stone, please, you can't come in gender separation rules. Just wait a second. I'll bring Amelia out immediately. She locked the door and hurriedly crouched down to untie the ropes on my wrists. Lowering her voice, she whispered harshly in my ear, Amelia, didn't you always claim you love Aiden so much? When we go out, you better say you just got drunk and ended up like this, or Aiden will never forgive you. She looked at my face, now purple from lack of oxygen, and quickly removed the rag from my mouth. Feigning panic, she helped me sit up and shouted, Oh my God, Amelia! What are you doing lying on the floor? We all thought you had left. I told you to stop drinking so much. How did you end up like this? She opened the door, and I collapsed against her, my face bruised and my body a mess. The sight of me shocked Nathan, his eyes blazing with anger. He rushed over, pulling me into his arms. Trembling, he pulled out the inhaler from his suit pocket, shoving it into my mouth and pressing it down hard. Amelia, breathe. It's okay, I'm here. Don't be scared. Everything's going to be fine. The cool medicine rushed into my dry throat like a sweet spring, soothing the burning pain in lungs that felt like it might explode. My lungs finally got a moment to breathe, and I greedily inhaled the long-missed air. Cough, cough. The irritation set off another violent fit. Nathan quickly helped me onto the couch, gently rubbing my back. My eyelids fluttered, and I struggled to open them just a slit. Under the dim lights of the room, Nathan's sharp features came into focus, full of concern and
heartache.
Nathan, why are you here? Did I imagine this? My voice was barely a whisper, my lips tugging into a bitter smile. It's not a hallucination. Amelia, I'm here to save you. He pulled me into a tight embrace, his voice breaking with emotion and fear. Tell me what happened? How did this happen to you? Before I could speak, Aiden rushed over, his voice full of concern. Baby, are you okay? You scared me to death. He reached for me but froze halfway under Nathan's icy glare. Baby, it's all my fault. I should have been there. I didn't even notice you were gone to the bathroom this whole time. Please forgive me. Aiden's eyes reddened as he slapped himself across the face, his gaze filled with regret and pleading. Ivy also managed to squeeze out a few fake tears, her voice trembling. Amelia, it's all our fault. We should have looked after you better. You drank so much, and then you fell in the bathroom. How are you feeling now? Let me get you a glass of warm water. With that, she turned to leave, but I leaned against Nathan, the fury at their shamelessness fueling my anger. I wanted to expose them, but my throat was so dry I could barely speak. Lies, they're lying. I couldn't finish my sentence. The pain surged again, and the suffocating sensation came back, even stronger this time. Darkness closed in, swallowing sound and light. The last thing I saw was Nathan's terrified face, his lips shaping a desperate, ragged scream. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on a bed in the private hospital owned by the Grant family. Nathan was at my bedside, his eyes bloodshot from worry. The moment he saw me wake up, he was overwhelmed with relief. Thank God, Amelia, you're finally awake. I tried to speak, but my throat burned as if set on fire, and the pain was unbearable. The doctor said your lungs still need time to heal.
Your throat is badly inflamed. You have to rest. No talking for now.
The man who could make his enemies break into a cold sweat in negotiations was now too afraid
to even raise his voice for me.
You scared the life out of me. When I got your message, I was still overseas. I could only contact your brother and tell him to find you as quickly as possible. His voice cracked. What happened? How did you end up hurt like this? Before he could finish, he finally noticed Aiden and Ivy in the corner of the room. My daughter sent me a message asking for help. What the hell did you do to her? The two of them nearly fell to their knees in fear. It's a misunderstanding, Mr. Richard. Amelia, she just got drunk dash. My father frowned and interrupted, his icy gaze snapping toward Aiden. You're my daughter's boyfriend? The one she was willing to sever all ties to marry. Aiden bowed repeatedly, his voice trembling. Yes, Mr. Richard. I'm Amelia's boyfriend, Aiden.
Ford.
It's all my fault for being careless tonight, and it almost caused something terrible to happen to Amelia. I apologize to you. He grabbed Ivy's hand and kept bowing, practically ready to kneel. I clutched my father's hand tightly, tears streaming down my face as I shook my head desperately. He immediately understood that I had something to say. Sweetheart, the doctor said you shouldn't talk and not to get too emotional. Lie back and rest. He gently helped me lie back on the hospital bed. Aiden and Ivy breathed a sigh of relief. The next moment, however, my father's words made their hearts jump into their throats. If you want to say something, you can text me, okay? He gently stroked my hair. I gestured to Aiden, who had taken my phone. He froze, nearly falling to his knees in fear, then scrambled over and nervously handed me my phone. Baby, I thought you were too drunk to remember your phone, so I just took it for safekeeping. I tried to turn on the phone, but it was dead. Nathan shot a cold, accusing look at Aiden. Your girlfriend gets drunk, and instead of taking her home, you take her phone?
That's
suspicious. You'd better tell the truth. If my people find something out from the barbecue joint, don't blame me for being rude. At that moment, the doctor walked into the room. Mr. Richard, Mr. Grant, Miss Stone's blood test results just came back, and they show she hasn't consumed any alcohol. Also, based on the examination, her asthma worsened because she accidentally ingested a thick. The burn marks on the back of her hand appear to be from a cigarette, and there are signs of restraint on her wrists.
Syrup.
With every word the doctor said, my father and brother's faces grew darker. The team, who my brother had left behind at the barbecue joint for investigation, returned. Mr. Grant, the staff at the barbecue joint said they were called to the table to clean up and they found 2 bottles like this. He pulled out the inhaler and a bottle of strawberry-flavored cough syrup from his bag. The doctor took one look and nodded.
Yes.
This is the syrup that was found in Miss Stone's throat. Who would do something so cruel as to make her drink this? If she had choked, she could have suffocated. The team also pulled out my necklace, which was covered in dirt and blood. They found this necklace on the ground. The pendant was opened. My father's eyes brightened, and he snatched it up, his voice trembling. This is the necklace Elizabeth personally designed. Sweetheart, is this blood yours? I nodded through my tears, holding up my hand so he could see my split, bleeding nails. Where's the medicine inside? If you had taken the medicine, things wouldn't have gotten this serious. Nathan's expression turned completely grim. Do we even need to ask? Someone clearly didn't want her to take it, so they burned the back of her hand with a cigarette. Who did this? Who dares hurt my sister like this? I'll make them pay with their life. Seeing that the truth was out, Aiden pushed Ivy forward in desperation. She did it. Mr. Richard, Mr. Grant, it's that bitch. She's jealous of me being with Amelia, so tonight she deliberately had the exhaust ventilation system turned off for a while, causing Amelia's asthma attack. Then she stole her inhaler and forced her own cough syrup down her throat. It was all her doing. I was drunk. She said she'd take Amelia home, so I agreed. All the other friends who were at the barbecue can vouch for me. Seeing him actually betray her, Ivy's face was filled with disbelief. Liar. You switched out her asthma medication for mine. Before she could finish, Aiden yanked the cough syrup bottle from her and shoved it into her mouth. You slut, still trying to argue. You said Amelia was faking it, and then you sucked dry her life-saving inhaler. So many people saw it. Why don't you dare let the doctor check? Ivy was sobbing uncontrollably, coughing up a mouthful of blood. My father waved a hand. Go, take her for a checkup. See if she really stole my daughter's life-saving medicine. As Ivy was dragged out, struggling, Nathan noticed the white powder on the soles of her high
heels. Wait.
Did you destroy the medicine inside my sister's pendant too? Take off her shoes and test them. I struggled to point to the burn marks from the cigarette on the back of my hand. Amelia, are you saying it was her who burned you with the cigarette too? I nodded with all the strength I had left. Nathan's eyes flashed with fury. Burn her hands with cigarettes too. And the foot that stepped on the medicine, break it. You like forcing my sister to drink cough syrup, huh? Get a few pounds of concentrated syrup and force it down her throat while pinching her nose. Let her experience the suffocating feeling herself. As long as she doesn't die, our Grant family can cover the medical bills and the lawsuit. Let's see if she dares to sue. The men carried out their orders and left. Everyone knew Ivy wouldn't dare to sue, not only because of the power of the Grant Group, but because she was the one who had deliberately tried to kill me. Premeditated murder alone would land her in prison for life. Soon, blood-curdling screams echoed from downstairs the hospital. The team reported that Ivy's hands were burned with 100 cigarette butts and her right foot was broken. She fainted from the pain. Wake her up and keep going. The syrup hasn't been forced yet. The team took their orders and left again. Seeing the Grant family's ruthless methods for the first time, Aiden went pale, collapsing at the bedside, slapping himself repeatedly. I'm sorry, baby. It's all my fault. I didn't protect you. I shouldn't have trusted that bitch Ivy. Let her take care of you. I deserve to die. He faked tears, his voice full of theatrics, but my father and Nathan coldly watched his performance. Mr. Richard, Mr. Grant, believe me. Everyone at the barbecue tonight can testify for me. Saying that, he quickly pulled out his phone and called his men stationed outside the hospital to
Come in.
Before they even arrived, they heard Ivy's screams. Seeing Nathan's fierce expression in the hospital room, their legs buckled, and they were
terrified.
When Nathan asked, and they saw Aiden's eyes filled with hidden menace and threat, they quickly spoke up in his defense. Yes, tonight's events were all Ivy's idea. Aiden was careless about Miss Stone's safety because that bitch, Ivy, got him drunk.
Yes.
Apart from Ivy, we were all too drunk to notice she was abusing Miss Stone, almost killing her. I knew she was sick but still asked for a cigarette. Turns out she was planning to hurt Miss Stone. She's pure evil. They all chimed in, shifting all the blame for their own instigating and inaction onto Ivy. A lethal glint flashed in my father's eyes. He stood up, voice as cold as ice. Since that's the case, I'll personally teach her a lesson. I'll take care of this and vent my darling's anger. He left with his men, and the doctor entered within 4 drip. Hearing that I needed rest, Nathan ushered the others out. Go, there are more details I need to ask you about. Let's go somewhere else to talk. Aiden held my hand, seemingly full of regret. Mr. Grant, I'll stay with Amelia. Don't worry. I will make sure nothing happens to her again. Nathan hesitated but nodded. You'd better not try any tricks this time. He gently stroked my head, and in my terrified, desperate gaze, he turned and left. Nathan, no. He's the real culprit. He'll kill me. Panic clawed at my chest. I wanted to shout, but my throat was on fire, and all I could manage was a weak, strangled cry. I tried to move, to get up and chase after him, but Aiden pressed me back onto the bed. Amelia, be sweet. Just cooperate with the doctor. I'll stay right here with you. His voice was soft, almost soothing, as he poured me a glass of warm water. After the nurse finished administering the 4 and left, Aiden gently fed me water, spoonful by spoonful. But his eyes were filled with both caution and threat. Amelia, trust me. It's all Ivy's doing. She's been trying to drive a wedge between us. Today, it's my fault. I shouldn't have believed her. You don't have to either, okay? I glared at him warily. Did she say anything to you? Trust me, everything she said is a lie. Don't believe any of the things she showed you either. The more Aiden spoke, the more agitated he became. He placed the cup down and gripped my shoulder with a tight, almost suffocating hold. After I confirmed that there was no love left in my eyes, only wariness and disgust, he suddenly let go of my hand, his gaze growing more frantic. No, you can't ruin me. All my years of work, the company about to go public, you can't destroy it. He turned his head to look at the back of my hand, where the 4 was, remembering the nurse's earlier warning. The patient has electrolyte imbalances. The potassium supplementation must be strictly controlled. If administered too quickly, there's a risk of cardiac arrest. A twisted smile curled up at the corners of his mouth, and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. I can have the perfect future only if you die unnoticed. Saying this, he pulled out a tissue and, using it, adjusted the flow regulator on the 4 tube. He slowly pushed it to the maximum. I wanted to resist, but he pressed my arm down. The cold medication rushed into my veins, quickly spreading through my body. Fear and despair crept over me, and tears blurred my vision. Could it be that I couldn't escape this fate of being murdered? Nathan dead. Who will save me? Bang! As if sensing my despair, the hospital room door was suddenly kicked open from the outside. Before Aiden could react, the bodyguards burst in and slammed him to the ground. Nathan and
My
father appeared in front of me with bloodshot eyes, faces full of lethal fury. You bastard, you were lying all along. Behind them were 2 uniformed police officers. Even as Aiden was handcuffed, he still tried to argue. He even attempted to lash out at my father and brother in desperation. Officers, they're illegally hurting me and investigating without authorization. Why aren't you arresting them? Then Ivy, sobbing uncontrollably, was dragged in with her friends. When Aiden saw Ivy, his eyes widened in disbelief. You're not hurt. Ivy spat in his face and cursed. You bastard. You clearly wanted to ditch Amelia, this burden, and try to inherit her mother's fortune, using me as your pawn. How dare you blame everything on me? Aiden, I really must have been blind to ever like such a scumbag like you. Even his friends had changed their tune at that moment. Aiden, we considered you a friend, but you've been messing with us? You tried to hurt Miss Stone, and even tried to make us misunderstand her. We don't have a venomous friend like you. The situation flipped in an instant, and I was stunned, tears still fresh in my eyes. Nathan smiled and came over to wipe my tears away, comforting me. Silly Amelia, how could we really let you be alone with that bastard? We were monitoring his every move in the next room. I never expected he'd actually go as far as to harm you. With that, he slowed the force slightly. Don't worry, it's just normal glucose. Even if it was a bit fast, it's only a little cold and a little painful. You've been wronged, Amelia. I couldn't hold back anymore and collapsed into his arms, crying silently. As Aiden was dragged away, his face was still filled with disbelief and unwillingness. Chapter 10. 100%. This is impossible. You guys actually called the cops? This is entrapment. Nathan snorted coldly. We called the police on our way to the barbecue joint. Do you think the evidence just appeared out of nowhere? The police chief, owing my father a favor, helped us stage this trap, and you admitted the truth. My father nodded and said sternly, "This is all your own doing. Hurting my daughter at the barbecue joint wasn't enough. Now you want to kill her at the hospital. The evidence is clear, and you still have the nerve to argue. My daughter was so misguided to fall for a scum like you. Now get out." Aiden still tried to plead with me, but Nathan's swift kick sent him flying. What kind of person keeps deceiving my sister over and over? Amelia, are you seeing this clearly now? Is your love-struck brain waking up? I nodded through my tears, filled with regret for running away from home because of this scumbag. Seeing me cry, my father snapped at him. Shut up. Your sister inherited your mother's deep affection, kindness, and purity, and that's how she was deceived. Nathan shrank back, repeatedly apologizing. I attended the trial a month later. Based on the various video evidence provided by Ivy, the testimonies from the barbecue joint staff, and Aiden's actions in the hospital room that nearly killed me, the court found him guilty of multiple counts of attempted murder and sentenced him to life in prison. Ivy was also convicted as an accomplice, but her good attitude towards confessing earned her a 15-year sentence. As for the others in the joint who egged him on and stood by while I was in danger, although the court couldn't directly charge them, they received stern warnings and fines. Later, Nathan uncovered a wealth of evidence showing Aiden's company had been dodging taxes and exploiting loopholes. The company was investigated, its assets frozen, and it was officially declared bankrupt. When Aiden heard this news in prison, he spat blood and fainted. When he woke up, he had become quiet and withdrawn, always muttering to himself, "I was wrong. I missed it. I lost the real heiress because of greed and scheming." Hearing of his foolishness, the other inmates despised him. They bullied him daily, calling him a moron. Aiden initially tried to resist, but he was beaten mercilessly by the others. Eventually, he stopped fighting back. It was said he was beaten so badly on the head that he became a drooling fool, the kind that couldn't be helped. As for Ivy, things weren't much better for her in the women's prison. What the other women hated most was how she meddled in others' relationships. On the surface, she acted like she was just friends with other men, but behind their backs, she was secretly involved with them. The women there despised her, calling her bitch and slut. She became the most despised person in the entire women's prison, constantly ostracized and bullied during meals, and even when she was trying to sleep. One cold winter night, after her blanket was soaked in cold water by other inmates, she was forced to sleep on the cold floor. She caught a fever and froze to death. The other inmates all agreed that she was the one who insisted on sleeping on the floor, so they couldn't blame anyone else. When the guards checked, her blanket had already been replaced by someone else. With no evidence to the contrary, it was quickly ruled as an accidental death. As I heard the good news, I was sitting in the warm comfort of our villa, preparing to celebrate Christmas. My father, wearing an apron, proudly brought out a honey-glazed ham from the kitchen. "Sweetheart, I know you love honey-glazed ham at Christmas, so I asked Mary to teach me how to make it. Looks pretty good, huh?" Nathan quipped with a teasing grin. "Dad, I've never even tasted your cooking." My father shot him a glance, then turned to me with eyes full of the precious love and regret of a father who had almost lost something dear. "I was wrong before, always trying to make you follow the path I had laid out for you. After your mother passed away, I finally remembered what she said. She said, 'Amelia takes after me.' I want her to live freely as I did, with a clear sense of love and hatred. I gave her my surname because I want her to be as strong and steadfast as stone, independent, stable, and reliable. No matter what challenges she faces, I hope she can stand firm like a rock, unwavering and unyielding." He choked up and gently patted my head, his eyes reddening. "It was my mistake. I almost lost the most treasured pearl your mother left me. Sweetheart, from now on, I'll care for you more and protect you from any harm." Nathan laughed from the side. "And me too." Snow fell silently outside, and a warmth spread through my heart. "Okay,